welcome to this evening's dinghy briefing. Not such a nice day on the Tamar today. It's a bit grey and rainy actually. But it's not too windy, so here we are. Some of you may know, I retired from the Baltimore Challenge. It's because I had the boom vang detached from the boom, developed a problem with the through hull for the engine cooling that made me lose a bit of confidence in that through hull, and a few other things just didn't feel right, not to mention the exhaustion and the very hard couple of days beating into wind down the coast. So I didn't make it to Baltimore. Actually, that's neither here nor there, as some of you will be aware. We, the Jester Challengers, have lost one of our number. So Duncan in the Minky, which is a folk boat, a GRP folk boat, never arrived in Baltimore, and his boat was found without him on it, sadly, some days later, sort of well outside the window of survivability there. So the belief now is that he is lost. I can't imagine how his wife and family are feeling. My deepest condolences to them, really. I can't pretend he was a personal friend of mine, because he wasn't, but we did have dinner together in the Azores after the 2021 Jester Azores Challenge, and we spoke at the start of this challenge. Very, very able sailor and very experienced sailor in a very well found and well sorted boat. The fact is, we will never know what happened, and that's what we all need to accept, really. We'll never know. All we can rule out is that he wasn't run down, because the boat was found afloat and in good order, sailing order, as far as I understand. What we do is not without risk. I felt underprepared for this, so I pulled out. As soon as you go out beyond swimming range of the shore, really, well, I'm going to start paying a lot more attention. There will be lessons to learn from this, but it's too early to say what they are. What has been on my mind, and feel free to throw something in the comments here, because this is something I'm considering. I have AIS receive at the moment, but I don't have a transponder. What do we think? AIS transponder or not? In the meantime, here is my attempt at the Jester Baltimore Challenge. Enjoy. One man, 300 nautical miles, and a buttload of jammy dodges. Ring any bells? Off to the skipper's briefing then, which this year I think is a much more civilised affair. We're off to Jolly Jack's. Most of the guys are already there, so it's just decent coffee and sit and do that. Lovely, this marina. Good people, very friendly staff, great facilities. Mayflower Marina in Plymouth, highly recommended. You have to leave the wife behind. You can't take her with you.
Well, I'm just making sure he goes. Trust me. I don't want to be here. I'm making sure he leaves.
Perfect. opening shot right there. It's not the start, 10 minutes from the start. Alright, so I spent the first hour tacking out of Plymouth Sound, out past the breakwater and around Rainhead. Actually, that's Rainhead, right there. There's an entire fleet of Jester boats ahead of me, which you can't probably see, but that's a fulmar. Next boat ahead of me is a fulmar. You'll be behind me soon though, don't worry. There's another twister, look. Well, I say another one. This one's not a twister now, is it? That's a twister. And Viveza, of the Twister Association fame, helmed by Peter Mulville, of course, is directly astern and making good ground, it seems. Now that he's found some air, once you're out of the sound there, it picks up. Wow! That's Eddiston Lighthouse right there. Might be able to see it on the GoPro. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Should have filmed that really. I've just got dinner ready. That's a chili. That's going to be probably keeping me fed for the next, well, at least 3 days, you know. Because it's a short-ish trip, that's probably the easiest way to do it, isn't it? It's just to make something big that you can refrigerate and live off that. And the pressure cooker is of course amazing for that sort of thing, because once it goes cool at the end of the cooking, once I've eaten as much as I want to eat today, I can just put the whole thing, including the pressure cooker, just put it all in the fridge. Get it out tomorrow. Great. So an extremely frustrating first day. It was always going to be, because the wind is not playing ball. That's always the way. It seems always the way. You can't win. So we've been doing this. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I'll do a screen record, probably a better quality one. Just tacking around, trying to get out of Plymouth. That's Eddiston Lighthouse there. This is the best I can currently make. And as you can see on my current tack, unless the wind changes, I'm not even going to get into Falmouth, never mind around the Lizard. Oh, it's, you know, there's a reason why they say gentlemen don't go to windward, you know, because it's a pain in the ass. Oh well, I'm going to have to just take a more relaxed view of things, aren't I? We'll get there when we get there. Alright, I've made my chili, which I'm just about to eat. And I've decided, having thought about it, that I'm going to stop in Helford overnight tonight. Because, two reasons really. First of all, stopping on a Jester is completely allowed, it's fine, take as long as you want to do the challenge. If there's a convenient place to stop and you want to, you can, no problem. Having had 0 sleep last night, I don't think I'm really in any fit state to make a seaman-like job of the TSS after another night of no sleep and beating to windward, and I've been beating to windward all day. I'm quite tired now, so what I'd rather do is enjoy the sailing and take a few hours off. So that's what I'll do. It'll only be a few hours. It'll probably still be midnight before I get there. So I'll just get 4 hours of safety on the hook and then deploy again tomorrow. You can see conditions out here are pretty flat really. I mean, it's not dead, but there's not much going on. We are sailing at about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 knots or something. And still some way to go before we're anywhere near the Helford. Yeah, hard work when it's like this. It's a lovely place to wake up. Let's get you out the sun. Avoid wind noise there. So it's I don't know, 2 miles in that direction, Helford. So I'm just sailing around the Manacles. And I think what I'm going to do is put in a long tack in this direction. Hopefully on the next tack, the wind is due to come a bit more south. On the next tack I'll be able to head straight for Wolf Rock and the Scillies, hopefully. So I think I probably got in the end 4 hours sleep last night. I'm pretty exhausted, to be honest. So not a great start to this year's challenge for me, I've got to say. But anyway, I think if I can't get to the Scillies today, I'm going to have to call it and retire. I'm going to have to. I can't spend days and days just floating around here beating into the wind because I've got other things I need to take care of, you know. I allowed a week for this, which, you know, with a fair wind, it's 2 days each way a week, you know. I wish I could stretch out a little bit. I suppose I could, but we'll see. We'll see. Of course, I'll run out of jammy dodgers again. Why do I never? The one thing I never over provision on is jammy dodgers. Why is that? What's that about? Or maybe I should just not eat them so fast. I don't know. It's a problem. It's a problem I've got to wrestle with. I've got plenty of time to think about it now, haven't I? We're doing all right at the moment, though. What are we doing now? 5 knots. Well, today has been a completely different story from yesterday. So I started off out of the Helford, beating into the wind and thought it was going to be another hellish day. But then I reached my windward mark at about 10 o'clock, about 10 o'clock this morning. Very early start from the Helford. Had about 3.5 hours sleep. And since then, it's been more like a P&O cruise, really. I've just been stuffing my face and kicking back and trimming the sails. Changing gear from driving the boat hard to windward to just being able to ease off a little bit and look at the telltales and just relax. You know. So we've been going anywhere from 5.5 to 7, sometimes more than that knots. To be fair though, we've had the tide behind us, and it is interesting to look at the track and notice how the different tides either make the tack's concertina up and make them look pointless, or if you've got a strong tide in your favour, really open them out so they're almost right angles, you know. Anyway, we're en route to the Scillies. We'll be there in about 7 hours, I imagine. So we're more than halfway across Mounts Bay. It's all good. It's all good. I should have enough food and supplies to last me to Ireland, although I have already run out of jammy dodgers, which, you know, sooner or later I'm going to learn my lesson with that one, aren't I? You know, I don't bring enough. I never do. Anyway, have a look round. I've had the opportunity to get a couple of sort of 20-minute breaks, which is good, without worrying, you know. Telepilot's doing well. That's it. Next update this evening, I suppose. Alright, I think a quick update is in order then. So I stayed the night in St Agnes on Scilly last night. Due to a few technical problems with the boat. Not least of which I've discovered that the reason the engine intake is sucking air is that the through hull, the skin fitting for that, it's dezinkification resistant, and it has stopped resisting. It's perforated ultimately, and that's where the air's getting in. And I discovered this by slathering the whole thing in grease last night, and actually hearing the grease just tick as it sucked up to the hull. That's a through hull. I'm not having that. So obviously the whole running the engine thing, I'm not allowed to do it on the way there, but I am allowed to do it on the way back. And if I can't run the engine on the way back, I'm stuck in Ireland for the next week or two because there's no weather window, and that's a problem. And that's why I'm here, ultimately. So I've ordered a new through hull. That's going to arrive back at the back cave, of course. I'm going to fuel up here and wait for an ideal weather shot to get back to the mainland and back up to Plymouth. It's disappointing, but the truth of it is, and you know, I haven't said it, but it's true, I was underprepared, and that's why I've had to pull out. I was underprepared. I should have gone through all of that. Never mind. Ultimately, I'm not the only one that's retired from the race. Several have. It was a very, very difficult start to that. Nobody wants to beat into windward up the English Channel for 2 days just to get round the Scillies, do they? Nobody wants to do that. Because you can't sleep because of all the traffic. So it's exhausting, really brutal. Anyway, a full autopsy some other time, I expect. For now, welcome to the Scillies. Here we are. We're cruising around St Mary's now for some fuel.